There is a divine law that governs how faith works, and whether people realize it or not, they are already participating in it every day through the words they speak. Words are not empty sounds, they are containers of belief, carrying either faith or fear into the future. Many people speak without awareness, allowing doubt, worry, and negativity to flow freely from their mouths. They describe their problems, repeat their fears, and unknowingly reinforce the very conditions they want to escape. This is why understanding the power of saying it is so important, because your words are setting the direction of your life. What you say consistently becomes what you expect, and what you expect begins to shape your reality. When you begin to align your speech with truth instead of circumstances, you step into a higher way of living. You are no longer reacting to life. You are speaking into it with intention. This shift may seem simple, but it carries profound impact over time. Saying it is not about denying challenges or pretending problems do not exist, but about choosing to speak a greater truth in the midst of them. Many people think they are being honest when they speak negatively, but they do not realize that constant negative confession strengthens the problem. Faith does not ignore reality, it rises above it by declaring what God has said instead. When you begin to discipline your speech, you are taking control of one of the most powerful forces in your life. It requires awareness at first, because old habits will try to return. You may catch yourself speaking doubt or fear, but each time you correct it, you are building a new pattern. Over time, speaking faith becomes more natural, and negative words lose their place in your vocabulary. This transformation does not happen instantly, but through consistent effort and intentional speaking. Your words begin to carry confidence instead of hesitation, and authority instead of uncertainty. As you continue to practice speaking in alignment with faith, you will notice that your thinking also begins to change. Words and thoughts are deeply connected, and what you say repeatedly influences what you believe internally. When you speak fear, your mind reinforces that fear, but when you speak faith, your mind begins to accept it as truth. This is how belief is formed, through repetition and consistency. At first, your words may feel unfamiliar, especially if they go against what you see or feel. But as you continue, your inner conviction begins to grow stronger. You start to believe what you are saying, not because of external evidence, but because it has taken root within you. This is where the real power begins, when your words and your beliefs start to align. That alignment creates a force that moves beyond natural limitations and begins to affect your circumstances. In this process, patience becomes essential, because the results of your words are not always immediate. Many people give up too soon, returning to old patterns because they do not see instant change. But every word spoken in faith is like a seed planted, and seeds require time to grow. If you remain consistent, continuing to speak what you believe regardless of what you see, those seeds will begin to produce results. This is how the law of faith operates, steadily and reliably over time. You may not see the changes right away, but something is happening beneath the surface. Your words are creating a foundation that will eventually support visible transformation. As you stay committed to speaking with intention and faith, you are participating in a process that is designed to bring change into every area of your life. Believing it is where the true depth of faith begins to develop, because saying words alone is not enough to produce lasting results. Many people speak positive things, but deep inside they still carry doubt, fear, and uncertainty. This inner conflict weakens the power of their confession, because faith must come from the heart, not just the lips. True belief is formed when the word becomes more real to you than your circumstances. It is a process that requires attention, focus, and consistency, not something that happens automatically. You must choose what you allow into your mind, because your thoughts shape what you believe. If you constantly focus on problems, your belief will be shaped by fear. But if you focus on truth, your belief will be shaped by faith. This is why feeding your spirit is so important, because what you take in daily determines what you believe deeply. Over time, what you consistently think about becomes what you accept as truth. As you begin to build belief, you will notice that it requires you to go beyond what you feel. Feelings are unstable and can change quickly based on circumstances, but belief must remain steady regardless of what is happening around you. There will be moments when everything looks opposite of what you are believing, and this is where many people struggle. They allow what they see to override what they believe, and as a result, their faith weakens. But real belief stands firm even when there is no visible evidence. It is a decision to trust what has been spoken, even when it has not yet appeared. This kind of belief grows stronger through practice as you repeatedly choose faith over doubt. Each time you resist fear and hold on to truth, your inner conviction becomes more solid. This is how belief is strengthened, not in easy moments, but in challenging ones where your faith is tested. The development of belief also requires discipline in your thinking, because the mind will often try to return to old patterns. Doubt does not disappear instantly, it must be replaced with truth over time. This means you cannot entertain negative thoughts and expect strong belief to grow. You must be intentional about what you think, choosing to focus on what supports your faith rather than what weakens it. This may feel difficult at first, especially if you are used to thinking negatively, but consistency will bring change. As you continue, your mind begins to renew, and your default thinking starts to shift. You begin to think differently about your situation, seeing possibilities where you once saw limitations. This mental transformation is essential because belief is rooted in what you consistently accept in your mind. When your thinking aligns with your words, your faith becomes much more effective. As your belief becomes stronger, you will notice a new level of confidence developing within you. This confidence is not based on external proof, but on an internal assurance that what you believe is true. You no longer feel the need to constantly question or analyze everything because your conviction has become stable. This stability allows you to remain calm even in uncertain situations because you are not relying on circumstances for reassurance. Instead, you are relying on the belief you have built over time. This kind of confidence changes how you approach life, making you more decisive and less hesitant. You begin to act in alignment with what you believe, and this alignment creates momentum. Your faith is no longer just something you say, it becomes something you live out daily through your thoughts, words, and actions. Receiving it is where faith transitions from something internal into something that begins to take form in your life. Yet many people struggle at this stage because they do not fully understand what it means to receive. They think receiving is something that happens only after they see physical evidence. But true receiving happens first within the heart. It is a decision to accept that what you have believed is already yours, even before it becomes visible. This kind of receiving requires a shift from uncertainty to expectation, where you are no longer hoping something will happen, but are confident that it already has. Many people remain in a state of waiting without expectation, and that keeps them from fully stepping into what they have asked for. When you truly receive, there is a sense of peace that replaces anxiety because you are no longer questioning the outcome. That peace becomes a sign that your faith has settled into confidence. This process of receiving also requires you to let go of the need to control how and when things will happen. Many people try to manage every detail, becoming frustrated when things do not unfold according to their timeline. But faith does not operate on human timing, it operates on trust. When you have truly received something, you are not anxious about the process, because you trust that it is already being worked out. This trust allows you to remain steady even when there are delays or unexpected developments. Instead of reacting with frustration, you maintain your confidence and continue moving forward. This is where patience becomes an essential part of faith, not as passive waiting, but as active trust. You are not doing nothing. You are holding firmly to what you believe while allowing it to develop. This posture creates stability and keeps you from returning to doubt. As you continue in this state of receiving, your actions begin to reflect what you believe in a natural way. You start to make decisions based on expectation rather than fear, and this shift influences the direction of your life. You no longer hesitate as much because your confidence has grown stronger. Opportunities that align with what you have received become more noticeable, and you are more willing to act on them. This is not forced or artificial. It flows naturally from the belief that has already been established within you. Your behavior begins to match your faith, creating consistency between what you say, what you believe, and what you do. This alignment is powerful because it removes internal conflict and allows your faith to operate without resistance. Over time, these consistent actions contribute to the manifestation of what you have received internally. During this stage, it becomes important to guard your mindset because external circumstances may still try to challenge what you have accepted. There may be moments where things appear unchanged or even contrary to what you believe, but this is where your commitment is tested. Instead of allowing doubt to return, you choose to remain in the place of receiving, holding on to your expectation with confidence. This requires discipline because it is easy to be influenced by what you see, but true faith remains anchored in what has already been accepted internally. As you continue to stand firm, your confidence grows even stronger and your peace becomes more stable. This inner stability keeps you grounded, preventing you from being shaken by temporary situations. Over time, what you have received within begins to take shape outwardly, reflecting the consistency of your faith and the strength of your expectation. When faith is consistently applied through saying, believing, and receiving, it begins to produce visible movement in areas that once seemed completely unchangeable. What once felt like a permanent obstacle starts to lose its hold, not because of natural effort, but because of spiritual alignment. Mountains in life do not move all at once in dramatic ways every time. Sometimes they shift gradually as faith is applied daily. Many people expect instant results and become discouraged when change is not immediate, but true faith operates with persistence. Each day you remain consistent. You are applying pressure in the spiritual realm that eventually produces natural results. This process requires trust because what is happening is not always visible at first. But just as a seed grows beneath the surface before it appears above ground, faith is working even when you cannot see it. Over time, what seemed impossible begins to show signs of change. As this movement begins, your awareness of progress becomes sharper, allowing you to recognize even small shifts that you may have overlooked before. These small changes are important because they confirm that something is happening, even if it is not yet complete. Many people miss these signs because they are only looking for large, immediate breakthroughs, but faith often works step by step. When you learn to recognize progress in its early stages, your confidence grows stronger. This confidence fuels your consistency, encouraging you to continue applying the principles you have learned. Instead of becoming frustrated by what has not yet happened, you become encouraged by what is already changing. This shift in focus keeps your faith active and prevents you from falling back into doubt. It also helps you remain patient, understanding that every step forward is part of a larger process. During this time, your inner stability becomes one of your greatest strengths, allowing you to remain steady regardless of external conditions. You are no longer easily shaken by delays or temporary setbacks because your confidence is rooted in something deeper than what you see. This stability changes how you respond to challenges, making you more composed and less reactive. You begin to approach situations with clarity rather than confusion, and with confidence rather than fear. This is a direct result of the alignment between your words, your belief, and your expectation. When these three elements work together consistently, they create a foundation that is not easily disturbed. This foundation supports you even when circumstances are uncertain, giving you the ability to remain focused and determined. It is this steady approach that allows long-term transformation to take place. As the process continues, the changes that began internally start to reflect more clearly in your external circumstances, confirming that your faith has been working all along. What you once spoke and believed begins to appear in tangible ways, reinforcing the power of consistent faith. These results may not always come in the exact form or timing you expected, but they come in ways that align with what you have built internally. This realization strengthens your trust in the process, making you more confident in applying it again in other areas of your life. You begin to understand that this is not a one-time experience, but a principle that can be applied repeatedly. With this understanding, you continue to move forward with greater assurance, knowing that the same faith that brought change before will continue to produce results as long as you remain consistent.